Welcome back to Wave 3 Listens Live. We are live today at the Frazier International History Museum, and we are talking about the new exhibit, 48 Stories. It's 48 stories from local people about their experiences from World War II. So you're going to see lots of memorabilia, lots of pictures, lots of war posters, uniforms, you name it, they've got it down here. They also have interpreters. So I'm going to introduce you to one of those, Zoe Jackson. And so you look fabulous, honey. Let me just tell you.
Not bad. They knew how to dress women in the 40s, I must say.
Yeah, you know what, and unfortunately for some of us, I have that 40s figure still. You know, it doesn't fit today's clothing so much.
No, but it's classic, exactly.
There you go.
And you can shop at all the vintage stores and it all still fits.
There you go. Okay, all right, that was the positive part of it. So tell me, what role do you play in the exhibit?
Well, I work as an interpreter here at the museum. We have 89 different individual stories about people in history, and this particular story is rather an unusual one. It's First Lieutenant Reba Whittle, who was born in Texas, but she joined the Army, she went to nursing school, and then she came to Louisville, Kentucky to go to the only flight nurse training school in the country. This was a whole new program during World War II. They wanted to get goods and materials to the front lines, but they also wanted to get the wounded out. So what they did was they would put a small medical team, one flight nurse and one tech, on the plane and bring the wounded back out. And so this is it's a really interesting, innovative thing that Louisville had in starting up this.
So the one, I mean, that's a very small crew to handle probably
Close to 30, usually between 24 and 30 patients were loaded on the plane, depending.
And these are actually some real live photos
Yes.
from the collection.
C-47s, the Skytrains, those were usually what were used by the flight nurses, and that was it. The flight nurse and the medical tech took care of any medical issues that came up with any of the 20-odd patients that were on the flight, and Lieutenant Whittle actually before getting to their air base, the strip that they were headed for, they were shot down by the Germans. Lieutenant Whittle and the crew, all but one who perished in the crash, were captured, and she became the only female prisoner of war in the European theater, and the Department of Defense did not acknowledge her as a POW until 1 year after she died of breast cancer in 1982.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, I guess I want to ask why that would be.
Why it would be that she wasn't acknowledged as, well, you know, when she got back, the war was still going on. And immediately after her debriefing, she had to sign a statement that said, I understand that I can't tell anybody about my experience because it would jeopardize somebody else's life. That was a real concern. Then also after that, there were 40-some-odd nurses at the very end of the war that were liberated from the prisoner of war camp in the Philippines, and that was a much bigger story. They were kept for 4 years as opposed to Lieutenant Whittle for 4 months. A lot of different reasons, but and also she took her oath very seriously that she was not going to tell anybody about her experiences. After she died, her husband donated her diaries to a flight nurse museum down in Randolph, Texas.
Amazing. Well, you look great.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Now, where do you guys find this stuff?
Well, you know, there are a number of sutlers and manufacturers that specialize in historically accurate reproduction pieces, clothing, memorabilia. Some of these, the flight nurse pin, the medical pins, are actually from the World War II era. The U.S. pins are reproductions, and so are the bars. She received the Purple Heart for her injuries, and she also received the Air Medal for bravery in flight.
Wow. Well, have fun.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I have fun every day. I love this job.
I know. I just can't even imagine. I know. It's not work if you love what you do.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, it's very nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. Take care.
Okay. So Zoe is one of the people that you will see when you come down here to the museum, and we're going to talk to some of you about your stories. We're going to go first to Nancy. Hey, Nancy, do you have a story for us?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, there's so many because I was a child during World War II, and the one that I want to tell you is I remember I must have been about 2 or 2.5, and my father had come home at Christmas time, and he had on his what I'm remembering is what I remember in my mind's eye. He had on his uniform, and he was in the living room, and I must have been. My mother said that everybody that was in uniform was my daddy to me when I was little.
Oh,
that I'd
sure.
say, "Oh, there's my daddy. Oh, there's my daddy." Mama said
Right.
I embarrassed her to death all the time, you know. But anyway, Daddy was kneeling down in the living room in front of the Christmas tree to me with his arms. I can still see him with his arms held out in his uniform. But I was under the dining room table, and I can still see the Mama had a lace tablecloth down, and I was hiding behind the tablecloth looking at him, and he had his arms held out to me, wanting me to come to him, you know. And I must have been frightened, you know. My daddy did come home, and he wanted me to come to him. But my dad was among the liberators that liberated Camp Dachau when
wow.
the concentration
And I'm
camp
sure that
was.
he never wanted to talk about that, did he, Nancy?
Well, he wrote a log about it, and
Okay.
the only thing that us kids really got tired of was he made us eat all of our food, and I used to sit over cauliflower and cooked carrots. I wish those people had this cauliflower and cooked carrots, because boy, I don't want it. And but he had horrible stories about the things that he saw, and Daddy relived a lot of those things for a long time after he got out of the Army.
I'm sure that had to have been one of the most horrifying experiences mankind has ever gone through. Thank you so much for your call, Nancy. We really do appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and take another really quick break. We do want to hear your stories. 571-5263-888-800-9283. We're going to introduce you to a real live World War II veteran just in a minute. Stay with us.